back to, is this episode 7? I believe this is 7.
Yeah, 6, I believe.
Last week. Yeah, so this is episode 7. Welcome. Well, don't mind me. Damn, that was a real high moment right there. Like, I just drew a blank. But anyways, it's CannaPost Daily. Welcome back to episode 7. I'm your host, MileHighFloatin, with my other host now,
zBoywonder.
Yeah,
Hop in, guys. I'm here. No, I got you. I'm also here now. You got your fellow co-host, zBoywonder. We're here to drop the cannabis news, the cannabis highlights of the week, let you guys know what's going on and what's up.
Indeed. And, I figured we don't really have a specific one topic that we're going to talk about today. We're going to kind of do what we did last week, but this time we got someone to talk to in the room right now, so you can kind of get both opinions, maybe different perspectives of things. But yeah, man, the one thing I want to say, I wanted to, let's go back, because I know we were just talking about it. I talked about it a little bit last week about New York and their whole situation, and now it's a final, not final, but it's finalized as of right now in what they're going to be doing until the next little voting session with their whole adult use. That got shot down, and now they just kind of decriminalized, that little decriminalization bill passed. I think it's trash.
That's what we were talking about. Yeah, so at the beginning of our conversation when we were having this discussion, I was saying how I was like, at least it's a step. But the more Jacob and I have talked about it and discussed it, he came from the side of thought that's a slap in the face to legalization. We're not actually making any progressive moves there in a real way. It's more or less just kind of like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, even if you look at the outcry that was being screamed in all the politicians' faces about that bill in the first place, is it it literally was a Band-Aid to a way bigger situation that the Band-Aid couldn't really patch. It didn't help anybody in the the neighborhoods that get affected by these war on drugs and stuff anyway, and it didn't it's just not helping the people. All it did, I think, was raise the limit for how much you could, I think, hold. I have to go look it up real fast. But yeah, I think that was all.
Yeah, usually, basically, what happens with the decriminalization of it is typically allows you to have more in your person, up to an ounce, and you're just going to get a ticket for possession instead of going straight to jail, not collecting your $200. The whole getting wrecked in monopolies type thing, but in real life, which no one likes losing in life. I mean, losing the game already sucks enough. You don't want to lose in life too.
For sure.
Especially when it comes to you just trying to, catch your buzz. You're not trying to use maybe it's your vice, instead of using alcohol or something like that. This is what you use, and there should be no crime in using something that's honestly more natural than most things out there that people do use to
100%
take the edge off.
100%. I mean, and then it just, I was about to say, this is a good segue into that home grow, because I'm actually curious to know what your thoughts are on that, because you've grown at home and done it for many different reasons back in the day, up until when you used to just do it just for fun.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I ever grew was literally in a goalie, when I was found some seeds in a bag that I had gotten from a friend in high school. I was like, you know what? I found a river. I put a little carabine, had a nice little treading, came across my roots. Let me tell you guys, worst weed I've ever grown.
I'm sure it was. I've grown some pretty terrible
some stringy,
but
larpy stuff, but I smoked it all. And that's all that matters. You know what? It taught me a lesson. Maybe buy a brick weed.
No, when I grew, I feel like the thing about growing and what he was kind of saying, and how I'm going to tie this into what we were just talking about, is when you get to grow, there's a whole different kind of connection that you kind of get to have with cannabis and the plant itself. And it's a journey from start to finish. Like he said, he got to start with little seeds and a little gully, and you know what I'm saying? It was probably fun, and it was very, engaging for somebody to sit there and grow and, go check on their plants and stuff. It was very therapeutic, I'm sure.
100%.
And that's what I think, ultimately growing at home and using cannabis is. I mean, it's just a therapeutic situation from start to finish, whether you're, starting to grow all the way to the very end situation when you're sitting back, couch locked, blowing back. But, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like people need to just get on board, you know what I'm saying, and help with this legalization situation. And by New York, one of the biggest, biggest potential marketplaces for sure.
Probably the biggest one on the East Coast.
Yeah, like it makes no sense. What they're doing to me, and they're reminding me of Florida, man. Florida's another one.
The ultimate foot dragger.
Oh my Lord!
Shaped like a foot.
Oh, it's shaped like a foot. Drags like a foot. The
exact same, man.
They just put up so many like stupid walls to hinder themselves.
Yeah.
As like a state that could be like really one of the leading states, just like California, like literally the top states.
This was our discussion where we were saying like where politicians just want to be politicians instead of wanting 100%. To be revolutionizing like where we're going. I mean, cannabis as an industry as a whole, as a medicine, it's taking us on a true like revolution. Steps away from opiates, steps away from these bad things, steps away from it being a taboo. We're getting people out of prison that have been in prison for years. I mean, why the hell were they in prison for weed, man?
It's so crazy that you say that. Nice to segue again. Did you see the article that I put up on CannaPost Daily? Go check us out if you want to get like some daily news. Instagram, Facebook, Podbean. I think we were talking about a Twitter. We're gonna eventually get a Twitter up going for that.
Twitter going.
But at CannaPost Daily and YouTube on everything. But the main social media is we do put posts up 6 days a week. And one of the posts the other day was actually about prisons in California. One of the it was like the 3rd District Appeals Court or whatever, like appealed or not appealed, but basically stated that inmates are allowed to have cannabis up to an ounce in prison. The only catch-22 to that is you can't inhale or ingest it. So as soon as you use it, like you broke a rule, you did something illegal.
Basically, like your time is no longer. We're sending you to solitary confinement where that's gonna suck to be high.
Yeah, and that's what you'll get. You'll get more in trouble for using it than actually having it. Which, it makes sense because
you can trade your weed for cigarettes.
But how did they get in there? Like you're still breaking the rules.
How do you get cigarettes in there?
I know, man.
How do they get anything in there?
The guards.
Anyone? Money.
I was gonna say something else. You're gonna move on.
Yeah, let's transition from there. We're gonna stay clear for the rest of that conversation.
But anyways, and it was kind of interesting because so it kind of helps take away the ability for people to get super long, unnecessary sentences.
Yeah.
So that at that point, the overcrowding issue is going to be able to kind of be, dealt with on a, some sort of level.
We're
which
also
will
going to see
then
tax money start to funnel into a better place instead of
exactly,
going towards these,
money.
Incarceratory funds, 100%. Essentially. So, that's a big thing. And in Colorado, I mean, we see it. We're seeing it on a regular basis. Some of the high schools where I'm at are all brand new high schools at this point, and that was one of the biggest things that we had happen. And we just hit $1 billion in tax revenue. $1 billion. Billion.
It's only half a year.
That's a
not even half a year yet.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money. That's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of zeros.
And imagine like a state like California, or not California because they're doing their thing. I mean New York, Florida. You know what I'm saying? Even like New Jersey. Like New Jersey has like a huge market just because of how close they are to
all of it.
New York,
like the East Coast. The East Coast. So in Boston, right? So I was out there, and they're just like in.
Oh man! So we had a little bit of a memory card newbie situation happen. But like I was saying though, man, for a school like the University of Maryland, which is a prestigious, pharmaceutical medicine school or whatever. To recognize cannabis on that level is like a huge step for cannabis, and us as a cannabis community. You know what I'm saying? The marijuana community,
and as cannabis as a whole, just because of the amount of research that we're going to get to be able to develop from cannabinoid research to the use on it in bodies and medicines, from just even the reactiveness to certain kinds of strains. I'm sure I know I'm a science nerd, and I'm not in med school. So I can only imagine what kind of science nerd's going to come across some awesome strains and just be like, yo, we got to break these down to like the way this literally treats you and should treat you in a scientific study, which we've never had done before yet, realistically. Like we've never had these grand scale, like we've had some, But this will take it to the next level, basically.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, because now that we're able to just test on a more free, kind of like level in some of these states, like it allows us to have certain stuff.
And once we start having the East Coast do it, then we're going to start having the West Coast do it.
Yeah. Because who we're super far behind? Israel. Israel's like 40 years,
Spain too, dude.
50 years deep. Yep, Spain as well. Like they've been...
Spain's been testing for a hot minute.
On a medical level.
Yeah, it's been in Spain, I think, for medicine now for like close to like 20-something years, I want to say. And they have it as a true medical like treatment.
Yep. And I want to say I was reading something in Israel too. You can actually get it as a option in the hospital. Like they'll let you have like a medical marijuana situation, or like they won't give you anything else. Like you just smoke weed or whatever. Like in the hospital. Like,
I'm in on this case study.
Sounds like some great stuff. I'm with it.
Then I gotta be sick. I'm actually out on this study. I'm out.
If you do want to attend this master's program, and you don't live in Maryland, don't worry. Majority of the coursework, majority of your work is done online. But there is some face-to-face stuff that is mandatory. I do know I was reading, you have to go at least once a month to the campus for like a giant meeting, like just like a big old medical cannabis meeting or whatever. Like you'll talk about, I'm sure, stuff that is, pertaining to the course and obviously the whole legalization situation and anything marijuana. So, man, like it's going to be pretty cool.
I like it.
Yeah, if you've got a bachelor's and you're trying to get further knowledge on cannabis and what's going on and how to be a better regulator or dispensary owner, or I don't know. Maybe you just wanted to have more knowledge.
Yeah.
Check it out. But, yeah. And then what were we talking about right before? Because we had kind of made it into this, or past that, right before our SD card was like... took a dump.
I think I'm having my high mind slip at this point in time. But we were talking about, I believe we were heading into, I was talking about cannabinoid research. Where that took us.
I know, we were all
wild for a second there.
all over the place.
Now I can't remember, honestly, off the top of my head.
You know what? Here, I got something for you. Because we were talking about this earlier. How do you feel about this CHS, the cannabinoid hypermesis syndrome?
Yeah, so it's very similar to like something that they used to call trypanostia, or it's similar to that, which is like basically where your receptors in your brain get too sensitive to a product or a psychedelic process. So that's why it was called trypanostia. They've probably broken it down now to a cannabis-related scenario, and that's what I think we were reading up on. And what I think about it is it's wild. I mean, as someone that's like,
bro, I would be devastated.
I'm a heavy cannabis user,
oh,
so
man, I would be. So
I know that like I've cut back from where like when I was a heavy dabber and I was like dabbing and like I'd be like, I need to take a fat glob and then I'm gonna smoke a bowl because it's gonna level me out. Well, I'm glad that I didn't get to that point where I was doing that to like actually like treat myself for something, because now that we're finding out about the fact that people are getting dizziness issues, literal nausea to the point where you're on the brink of like hospitalization due to throwing up for such long periods of time.
For hours.
Nuts. Yeah, it's nuts. It's
bro.
heartbreaking to those that have it. May the weed gods be ever in your favor in the long run.
Forever, bro. Oh my god.
Maybe find some CBN, some CBD. Maybe use some things that don't have THC, because I feel like is it all cannabinoids?
They're saying cannabinoids, like
RIP
in the name.
F in the chat. F in the comment section. Just comment F. We'll know what you mean.
Yep,
we know what you mean. Oh my god.
Man, yeah.
Oh my god.
I was like, that would hurt my feelings. You have no idea. I would be devastated at that point. Like, oh man. Yeah, that's.
This is that grape soda cartridge.
It is. It tastes fire, huh? Oh, here, let's go live. Let's do a little live sesh.
Grape
soda. You down for a little live sesh?
Let's live it up.
Let's go live. Let's put this YouTube live on. Get some people involved. Maybe get some questions.
I like it. Some questions from the homies. Of what do you call your fan base, my dude?
The High Fam.
The High Fam. Nice. I like it. So we got the High Fam. We got the Z-Boy Nation coming through on the reg.
Yeah,
I like this.
You gotta get the little. Oh, it's like it's like a little.
It gives you like a little. It's like your thumb art, right? Your clip art.
Yeah. Oh, we got you right there a little bit. We're just gonna go live.
I like it.
Yeah, we're just gonna.
I'm not worried.
We're
about
just gonna go live. All right, we'll put you right there, right underneath the camera. Oh wait.
There you
go. Know
yeah,
what?
I was like, turn it.
Oh man.
Because it's gonna give us the wide scape.
It is. Hold on, I gotta end it and then redo it. This is the struggles of trying to go live for you guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm doing this for you guys.
For some live questions, the Ask Me Anything section. Ooh, it's the Ask Me Anything segment. Hey, mate.
All right. Okay. Next. And now I should give us a little bit bigger of a thumbnail too. Yeah. Gang, 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 gang. Way better of a thumbnail.
We did it.
We did it, baby.
We done did
We
it all.
done did it, Bobby.
I like it.
We done did it, Ricky Bobby. There we did. There we live.
Ricky Bobby.
Hey, Ricky Bobby. But yeah, man. So if we do start, yeah, it's live and we're recording and
We got it all going now.
yeah,
Everything's popping.
everything's popping. You know what I'm saying? I put it on my YouTube. Go subscribe at MileHighFloatin. High vibes. You know what I'm saying? Let us know how you're feeling.
Okay.
But yeah, it's how we can get some people in here. If you're not subscribed to CannaPost Daily on all social media platforms, go do that. Do that right now for us.
It's all one word.
Yep, CannaPost Daily. I made it simple for y'all. CannaPostDaily. Yep.
We almost added an extra I, but that's just because we're extra high. You know what I'm saying?
Ex-pop prisoners live in paper prisons.
So this museum opening up in
Oh
California.
yeah, man, that would be really cool. So there's a new museum in Florida, or not in Florida.
No, it's in Cali. It's in
Opposite
Cali.
side of the country.
We wish it was. We wish
In
it was.
Hollywood, California, called the Weed. Is it just called the Weed Museum or Museum of Weed?
So it's Weed Maps Museum of Weed.
Weed Maps Museum of Weed.
Museum of Weed, yep.
Museum of Weed.
It looks really dope from the outside. They got some really nice architecture. Boston itself, there is no rec stores yet.
Yeah.
Some of the outer suburbs is where the rec stores are at. So I didn't get to go and check out a store like I wanted to. But I do have some friends that had med cards that went in and let me know about it. I really just wish they'd let me come in so I could be like, yo,
I just want to check it out.
I don't need to buy anything, but I want to do a review essentially for you guys on what your store is like, at least what the experience would be like, something like that. I wish there was more of that. It wasn't so closed door in certain situations, but at least they got shops where you can buy weed. Who am I to complain about anything?
Even though it took them forever to get them.
Definitely.
It took them a long time.
But at least they didn't stick to the Connecticut rule where they were going to go pill form ground up.
Oh yeah,
You can buy dank bud,
Yeah.
dank they are the closest to the Colorado, California setup. Vegas is in there with us too, but I feel Oregon, theirs is just so loose that.
There's this weird Washington too. They're very kind of loose with a lot of things too.
Yeah.
They have a lot of issues with testing,
Yep.
which they're addressing now.
I mean, in Oregon, man, you have towns, dude, where people literally, all of them grow weed, right? So, you can be driving down the interstate and going from, the grows, essentially, some of the outdoor grows, and driving back into the town, and someone will have a pack fall off the back of their car, and people just drive over it. Shit you not. That's how much weed is in some of those towns. I've gone and visited my boys, and, it's a little wookish, but it's all right. It's all right because we all love weed, man. Though. We all love weed, It doesn't make a difference if you want to shower in weed or if you want to shower like a normal person, whatever that means. But we all love weed. That's what we all come here for.
Yeah. You know who else is finally getting stores who legalized in 2016?
Who's that?
Maine.
Maine. I remember seeing our post.
Yeah.
That was actually one of our more recent ones.
And they're going to be like, they're shaping up, even though it took them forever, because they're still not even going to have their first stores and like start issuing licenses until like the end of this year, beginning of next year. So they're not projecting stores to be open until like spring, summertime, 2020. But they're going to allow you to purchase 2.5 ounces at a time.
2.5 ounces.
2.5 ounces,
sorry.
man.
I got caught off guard there because I was like, wait a minute. Are you shitting me?
2.5 ounces at a time.
That's
I was like, that's great. Yeah.
For rec,
the only thing that like I was kind of confused is so like in concentrates, you're only allowed 5 grams. Which like here in Colorado, an ounce equivalates to 8 grams of concentrate. So where they're doing their math on the concentrates, I'm very confused.
Yeah.
That one didn't make sense. But the 2.5, I'm a flour guy, so the 2.5 ounces of flour per purchase is fantastic.
I mean, I think we still have this huge stigma on concentrates now after like all the bad experiences. I mean, the internet showed so many dumbs. Just like
I mean,
people burning themselves with nails,
concentrates for
people
sure.
like falling into things. Like
I actually have a friend. I have 2 friends that blew up their like kitchens.
That's because they're idiots.
One blew up his like he was
That's
doing open blasting.
Beyond dumb.
Look, he was open blasting and
that's idiotic.
And
unsafe.
Whatchamacallit, the stove had a pilot light because it was a gas stove. Had a pilot light. Boom! Blew up the kitchen.
Listeners at home, do not ever do this.
Yeah,
that
open blasting is highly illegal.
That is bad science. And second, insanely illegal and extremely dangerous.
It is.
So if you don't understand how gases work, don't work with them like you think you're a scientist.
Oh, this one's dead.
Because being a stoner scientist is idiotic. You're probably high doing it, and all of us know we don't smell things when we're high. We smell the weed that's in our nose. So when you're sitting there not smelling the butane's fillant to make it smell bad, and then it's just dumping down into the pilot light, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say is, The Clear, who's one of our awesome sponsors, the sponsor, bringing you guys CannaPost Daily, the podcast here.
Yes, indeed.
Have some of the best carts on the market.
I
Big
agree.
shout outs to these guys.
Yeah, and look, I'm gonna sit here and say, I don't have to say anything other than what I want to say. And I'm not a big cart user, but these are actually really fire. Like, the terps are actually very good. They're not, like, overbearing and, like, overly artificial. They actually do use a lot of, they try to use terpenes that are marijuana-derived, you know what I'm saying, cannabis-derived terps. But there are cases where they will use naturally occurring terpenes from, like, fruits, stuff like that. So, yeah. Very good. I really do recommend them, whether you're doing the CBD stuff or the THC stuff. These ones are all CBD ones that we have right here. We can kind of smoke on them. They're all kind of like half full.
Getting it.
You know what I'm saying? What it is, what it is.
So get those
Here, if you have that other little thing, we can charge this
charger?
one. Yeah. You can plug it into, actually, you got to plug it into, I have a charger over there in the bag because that computer doesn't have one. You know those new Macs.
USBs.
All they got is that C port.
They're like, hey, you can use this adapter to adapt.
Mm-hmm. That's the only way. There's like an adapter charger in there. Yeah. So, but yeah, man. And speaking about like the East Coast is like killing it as far as I'm concerned. Whether it's in, I guess I was gonna say they're killing it in both a negative and a positive way, because New York is trying to figure this shit out. Florida's trying to figure their stuff out. But then you go over to Maryland, and they're doing some really cool things over there, man. So the University of Maryland has announced that they will be providing a master's program in medical cannabis starting this coming fall. If you are interested, all applicants signing up for the class must have a bachelor's degree. Obviously, it's a master's program, so if you don't got a master's degree, like, you're not gonna
with no BA.
apply.
Yeah, you can't apply for a master's.
You gotta have a bachelor's at least. And you gotta have your applications turned in by August 15th, because first day of class starts August 26th. And yeah, So that's
exciting.
Man. Yeah, it's super
That's
dope.
a big step.
It is.
That's a big step.
I mean, especially we were talking about this too earlier. Like the fact that this particular school, which if you're not, aware, University of Maryland is like a big pharmaceutical school. So a lot of like pharmacists and doctors and stuff that come out of there. Yeah, like people who study medicine go to that school. So for a school like that to be recognizing cannabis on a medical level and like feeling like it's a need to give people this option to learn
going on there. Like it almost kind of looks like a blunt wrap. The wood itself is finished.
Yeah, and they got there's like 7 eras of cannabis that they're gonna like cover in that museum. It was like pro-prohibition, so like before prohibition, like prohibition basically, and like the 3 different like stages of that, like the mad craze crisis, whatever they called it. And then basically once it was like, all the crazy commercials and all that weird nonsense, and then like kind of the tail end of it.
Yep.
And then into like the whole compassion era, and then from there I think it was into the legalization era and today.
Yep.
So, yeah, something like that. But 7 eras of cannabis, starting with the before prohibition situation.
It's going to be opening on the 3rd of August.
Yep. I think $35 fee.
Yep, $35. And then it's going to have weekly hours that go from like 2 to 8 p.m. during like Wednesdays through Thursdays. And then noon to midnight on Fridays. VIP only on Saturday nights. And then Sunday has a noon to 7 p.m. So some really, really solid hours, honestly. You can go and check out a lot about the cannabis, its rise, its falls. Wow. So 35 is for
regular
GA,
admission.
right? And you can be 18 with a valid ID for that. And then VIP tickets are for guests that are 21 and older, and those are $200. VIP nights offer an intimate, less crowded museum experience with amenities that include cafe access, drinks, hors d'oeuvres, and a curated gift bag to take home at the end of the night.
I wonder what's in the gift bag.
I want to know what's in the gift bag.
I want to go just to go in.
Shout out to Weed Maps. Y'all gotta send a gift bag.
Yeah, y'all should tag Weed Maps in this.
We'll open that bag.
We need to know what's in the gift bag. You know what I'm saying? What's in the bag?
What's in the bag?
What's in the bag?
We want the bag.
I want to know what's in the bag.
I want the bag.
Secure the bag. You know what I'm saying? Just secure the bag.
Oh, it's 30,000 square feet.
Yeah, I know.
Huge.
I was reading that too. That's a big facility.
Dude, that's some BDE. All right,
that's
some big dick energy right there. All right, you know what I'm saying? Holy cow, that's
like
big.
You're gonna say daily driven exotics or something. Because that's their thing.
Got him. Wasn't ready for that one.
No.
So yeah, it was pre-prohibition, age of madness,
Yep.
Counterculture revolution.
Yep.
Behind closed doors, entrapment.
Yep.
Dose of compassion, legalization, the plant, and that's it.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you about? Have you read anything? Did you see the post that we made? I want to say it was last week, actually. We never talked about it. About big marijuana companies kind of trying to kill the home grow situation.
I don't think I actually read that one.
So, like, I want to say it was in New York, and actually in Illinois, because the last one that just legalized.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to basically write out home grows. So like it will be illegal to still grow your 6 plants as a legal using adult. You have to have a medical reason to grow on any sort of level.
Wild.
So, and basically what it would do for the big, marijuana companies essentially is allow them to capitalize on every dollar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They can give the whole argument of, you're going to capitalize on all the tax money. You know what I'm saying? We're going to help kill the black market kind of situation.
Insane.
But, and then if anything is caught, like let's say you get pulled over and you have some weed on you, if it's not labeled in an actual like dispensary situation, packaging and all that stuff, it's obviously illegal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like a way to like help law enforcement. Like, if it's not in our packaging and our labeling and everything, you already know automatically it's illegal.
That's
like,
wild.
It's crazy. It's
That's
the
wild.
craziest thing ever.
That's some crazy laws right there.
Crazy
actually.
thought process.
That'd basically
right?
be like saying, yeah, so we're gonna make it so that you can't grow your own corn because we're gonna capitalize on every single dollar of corn that you ever are gonna spend.
Basically.
Sorry, that's fucked.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it straight up. That is fucked. That is some rough edges.
Yeah.
And none that I want to be around at all. At all.
And not only are they dealing with it, New York is dealing with it, New Jersey, and I mean, really, if you really think about it, with Illinois being the last one to legalize, any state after them is going to probably have to deal with this issue.
I think that's wild. I don't think we should take. You're not losing out on a whole lot. Your city is making more money.
Right.
Electricity bills are higher. Public service.
Yeah, I know.
Lets you provide your energy.
Yeah. It blew my mind too. I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. But here's another one. So let's segue.
I guess it takes away the ability of like having people like breaking transformers and things like that for their crazy at-home grow that makes their 6 plants actually 36 plants or some craziness like that. So, I mean, I see the other side of the coin. I do understand why they're trying to do it, but like I said, you're taking away my corn.
See, had you been in that argument to maybe give that point, then maybe it would have made more sense. But when you're thinking like politicians and big marijuana companies,
agreed.
That's money driven.
No, it's 100% money driven.
Money driven. Bro.
I'm just throwing it out there from like
100%.
the side of like city council, right?
Uh-huh.
I can see where that comes in because like I've literally where I live in the suburbs have had a grow knock out our power on the entire block for like half a day.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, I'm hooking up every ballast I can into this outlet, and it's like, bruh, that's 1,000 watts of electricity, you asshole.
Yep.
And they was like, yeah, I got 10 Raptor hoods down in my basement. I'm like, that's 10,000 watts of electricity, man. Do you know what that uses? More than your entire house ever. Ever.
Yeah. So, but did you hear it now?
That's insane. They're taking away their corn, man. I can't get over this analogy.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to the other side of the world, and you're gonna like this because you this is like your side of the world. You like China and Japan and all those places. I'm really into Asian food too. Just saying.
I like the culture, not just the food, but hey,
the food is where it's at for me, bro.
Dude,
give me some chow mein, some lao mein, whatever it is.
By us, there's a spot that I've been meaning to show you, and this is completely off topic, but it looks so fire, and it's on topic because it's on the Asian food. There's a Korean fried chicken joint that just opened up. Right here.
You call Bon Bon?
Yes.
Bon.
Yeah.
Yes, there's one over.
Bon Bon, dude.
Yeah, it's one. It's over. There's another one out in Stapleton too.
We gotta go.
Yeah, I really want to try. People keep telling me that it's actually really good.
I hear it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, all my friends have told me. They're like, yeah, if you haven't had that yet, you're not a true Asian culture fan. I'm like, all right.
Oh man, all right. Well, I think I need to go do that after we leave. But so I found this article. It was really interesting to me because the title, it was called "Pro Tip: Stop Mailing Cannabis to China."
Oh. Mailing cannabis to China?
Apparently there's an issue with people mailing cannabis to China.
What are people thinking?
So look.
International ships, huh?
So look. But here's the more interesting part, okay? It's not, I don't think that it's like so unheard of that people are mailing cannabis to China. Like people have probably tried to mail cannabis everywhere.
Not unheard of.
You're right. So I don't think that's the unheard of part. Like the part that really baffled me in this were the numbers at which like the person who's like in control of like their whole like narcotics control commission there. So he released some numbers. And mind you, China has 1.3 billion people.
Yeah.
Right?
Billion.
It's like the United States and Canada like 3 times. Like literally. He said that there's only 24, he estimated only 24,000 people were on cannabis.
24,000?
24,000 out of 1.3 billion.
That's right. How many people in Denver?
Right. I was like, what? That would
There's probably more users of cannabis in Denver.
That's 0.0018% of their population on cannabis. If that number is true.
That's very little.
Like not
that's
even
minute.
a percent. Like, wait, what? But I don't think that's. It can't be. Because that'd be like less. It says literally right here, less than 2 in every 100,000 people would be using cannabis.
Makes sense.
No.
But here's my debate with that. Then, like that kind of almost segues into the fact that like cannabis's literal like ancestor was found in China.
In China.
So if you're gonna try to tell me that that's the case, probably half these people don't even know how to take the damn survey that you sent to them.
Right.
Not to sound rude, not saying like.
No,
I'm not saying they're uneducated or anything like that. I'm just more saying like they got shit to do. Like people are busy in China all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have lazy time in China. I feel.
So
man.
look,
like
he said that
you're out there working hard.
They only intercepted 115 packages. All right, that were via sent international postal parcels, containing a total of 55 kilograms, which is only about 121 pounds.
That's not that much.
That's not a lot of weed.
No, that's not that
Like,
much.
there was just a bust of weed in, like, California, where they had, like, 4 times this amount of weed.
Yeah, I mean,
in one grow, like, one little grow, yeah.
Those.
Oh, man.
There's mom and pop grows here in Boulder and all over, I'm sure, that have 3 times that amount, just chilling in their vault, just like, you know, when the world's going to end, I got 300 pounds of weed, let's go.
See, and this doesn't make sense. So how could you have only 24,000 people using cannabis if you eradicated? So in 2016, they eradicated nearly 1.4 million illegal cannabis plants.
Yeah. And you're going to try to tell me that.
Like, it made no sense, bro.
This is basically like Russia being like, only this amount of us drink vodka.
Right.
I don't know, man.
I think more than you do. Yeah, I was real confused. But anyways, side note, don't get caught in China with more than 50 grams because it's the death penalty. So, just side note, throwing that out there. Don't go to China and get caught smuggling more than 50 grams because you're going to die. It's the death penalty. Yeah. That's only a little more than 2 ounces, so... Get caught taking that in here, it's death penalty.
Like shot in the streets type shit? Like you just...
It says right here.
They just put you in a shoot
Cannabis
line?
remains
Dunzo?
highly, they made sure to put that in there, highly illegal in China. Those caught smuggling more than 50 grams, it's just under 2 ounces, like I said. Or actually, yeah, just under 2 ounces. Not even over 2 ounces, only under 2 ounces. It's a controlled substance as far as they're concerned, even though it's not. But in China, it's considered a controlled substance. And, yeah.
Can't you get, like, opium in China? But you can't get weed there? Like, what do you mean?
Face the death penalty for bringing 2 ounces of weed to China.
My mind is boggled.
Yeah, don't get caught. Don't get caught.
I'm big sad right now for all my homies.
Oh, and then another side note, you know,
in China that got the death penalty.
Yeah, back to what you were saying. Archaeologists just recently announced the discovery of a 2,500-year-old cannabis smoking device at an ancient Chinese burial ground. The medical researchers estimated that the earliest source of cannabis on the plant emerged in what you were talking about, the Tibetan Plateau.
Yep. So basically, like the upper area that I want to say became known as like kind of
China
like,
now.
Yeah, and also like it was like Silk Roadish area at one point in time. Basically, they were using it for like spiritual like ceremonies. Yep. So, what the archaeologists were saying that had found it, they either believed that they were using cannabis to either try to feel more in touch with the lost ones,
they were getting high at funerals, basically.
Yeah, like
they were getting high at funerals, bro.
The way this thing looks, man, is it's like it's a huge like one hitter, but just with a hole in the center, and they take a bunch of hot stones, like they're charcoal grilling up some fine cannabis.
Oh, it's like a sauna room, but with
weed. But with weed.
Nice.
Sauna huts.
Sauna huts. That sounds great.
And that's how you send out your ancestors.
And that was 28 million years ago.
Yeah.
So why they're killing people in China?
When we found
ancestors. The earliest smoking devices and we found the first traces of weed being used in China, Stop it. Stop it. I'm just saying.
Get it out of here.
Legalize. Legalization. Let's do it. Back to that segue of, have you guys heard of the clear? You know what I'm saying? Let's take a hit.
Yeah. No,
yeah, that's crazy, man. I was
that
like...
discovery blew my mind, man. I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
Weed's been around for so... That's like... That made me start jumping into, like, some religious thoughts and stuff where I was like, man, maybe all these things that people thought about Jesus were just like, Jesus got everybody hella stoned with weed, man. Like, I turned water into wine. Well...
And he was black. His hair was of wool. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Woolly.
Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there, man. Like, I might think I was walking on water if I was high enough.
Hey, that is very true. That's very true.
I mean, people have used hallucinogenics to get people to do some diabolical things.
So did you see California finally released their cannabis divide chart?
Yeah, I did.
It still looks crazy.
Yep, it looks nuts.
There's still so many, like, just random territories.
I feel like there's just like...
Dude, it's too big. Split it.
They just keep building mountains, you know, that they have to, like, try to
climb over.
And then, like, they get to, like, the summit, they think. But realistically, they're just at some plateaued area that looks like the summit, but they were just caught in a blizzard. And now when the blizzard settled, they're like, holy shit, this is Everest.
Bruh. You're not lying.
Nah, dude. Just gotta keep getting higher and higher and higher. And then they realize, shit, it's all coming down back on top of us.
Yep. Yeah, no, I was like, wow.
I will say, though.
Side note, what's your favorite strain?
My favorite strain, like, recently, I'd say, I've been digging Mac. Have you tried that yet? I've been digging Mac. Mac's been pretty good.
The alien cookies, right?
Yeah, the
miracle alien cookies, or is it magical?
It's magical alien cookies, I believe.
Something alien cookies.
Yeah. An M word. Maybe one of our live viewers can correct us on that, but I still feel like I think it's magical. I could be wrong. It could be miracle. But anyways, it's tasty. It gets you real stony. I like that high. For a good sativa though that I've been smoking on, there's been some mandarin cookies going around.
Yeah, that mandarin cookies is fire. The one that I really like that has a really good citrusy flavor that I keep telling all my peoples out there about is the tropical cookies.
Yeah, the tropical cookies.
Oh my lord.
Basically anything cookies right now, I'm on.
Yeah.
What's the best strain in Colorado?
I think it's relative to the smoker.
Yeah, that really depends on you.
It's relative to you.
Like, it depends on if you want that super heavy stone, if you want that, like, really, really nice and energetic stone, if you want that racy high, that all depends on the person and the individual and how they're feeling.
Yeah, I 100% agree that.
Because there's strains that, like, sometimes I won't touch in a day, and then there are sometimes I'm all about getting super blitzed off of it. So
yep, I used to tell people to purchase, like, when we both used to work in the cannabis industry. Actually, we both did retail stuff too. When I used to sell weed, one thing I used to tell people, and they would ask me like, well, what should I smoke? I would just, like, pull out a few things and be like, you smell and tell me. You know what I'm saying? Because your nose will know. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Once you smell it, like, something will captivate you, and you'll be like, that one smells like that's the one for me. You know what I mean? And that's the one you should go with, because you're gonna have a way better experience with that eye, listening to yourself and your own senses, than anything that I can tell you. Because honestly, I'm gonna sell you weed off of my own experiences, because that's the only thing I can judge it off of anyway, is how it made me feel. And it can make you feel completely different. And weed, I used to, like, one of the best analogies I used to give people was, I used to be like, when you're sitting there smelling and looking at weed, it's like a pregnant woman having a craving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, pregnant women have cravings for reasons, and the reason usually has to do with, you know, needing something in the process of being pregnant. Like, they need something, they're in lack of something. And that's how weed is too. Like, we all have, you know, these natural occurring cannabinoids in our bodies, and all these, you know, natural little, like, cannabinoids. I said it already. High moment. So I feel like when you're sitting there buying weed and you're smelling all the different weeds, if something jumps out to you, it's because your body is telling you that you're a lack of something that's in that weed. So you should probably just listen to your body, take that weed and run with it, because you're probably going to have a way better experience. Again, like I said, because I can only sell you shit off of my own experiences at that point. So, yeah, man, just look at it that way.
And everybody gets high differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could both sit down, smoke the same strain, and you could have a completely different response to it than I do.
Yep.
That's why anytime I've ever recommended a strain to somebody, I always, every time they walk in, how'd you like that? How'd it make you feel? What were the effects for you? So that the next time you and I have our encounter, I can help you pick out the best thing for you.
Yep. Yeah.
That's basically how I describe the best strain in Colorado.
Yeah. That's the best way. It's all up to you, man. It's all relative to the person.
But if you wanted me to pick 3 strains for you that, like, I'd say you definitely enjoy for sure, without a doubt in my mind, would definitely, like we were saying, the Tropicana cookies, like, insane. Absolutely nuts.
Tastes like oranges.
Yeah, it tastes like straight up oranges.
Fruit punch.
I really have been digging the Mac, is what it's called.
Yeah.
And then we have a really, really solid cut of wedding cake still in our state that's been popping off, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really good.
That is really good.
We haven't really had the heavy gelato cuts hit up here yet, still.
Yeah, there's a few going around.
I still feel like they're not, like, I don't know, some of the stuff
they're
that
all
I'm
right.
seeing
They're
in Cali is pretty
unstable.
nuts, yeah.
Well, they're like compared to the ones out there.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot of like unstable.
I think that's the thing that people
biscotti
forget is that when we
and
start to
gelatos.
get strains out here, they're not always going to come through like super, super fire when the first harvest is. Like that's not.
They're just
That's just
well,
not how
and
it
I
works.
mean,
you gotta
some,
get it to like actually like function in our climate versus that climate.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then sometimes too, because like to get it strained, like new strains into the system, they have to be bred in the state to even be allowed.
Right.
So like sometimes some of the our gelato's not necessarily the same one because it had to be bred here first. And they're still trying to figure it out. Like we have gelato 43 and gelato 33 and gelato 45 and there's a ton of them. And it's just literally because people were taking the genetics that gelato is, breeding their own and trying to pinpoint and figure out which one was the closest to the original one in Cali. And that's how they were able to get it into our system to be able to legally sell it in a store. So, yeah, sometimes it's not the exact same cut, you know what I'm saying, as what you might see on Instagram. Just throwing it out there. You got to know the difference.
I mean, you see those top growers and those master growers are selling cuts that are a 2nd gen to 5th gen to 15th gen cuts of their strain. So you're not getting the same cut as what they basically are showing off on all of their Instagrams. So keep that in mind as like investors, as master growers, when you're always buying those seed packs, things like that. Be on the lookout for that number. A lot of the time it does mean the generation, and make sure that they give you a lot of information on your strains.
Yep.
Instead of just diving into something that you think you'll like because you've tried it before.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real life, especially coming from a different state. Like since we're not fully legalized across the nation, we're nowhere near like there's talks of being able to transport across state lines and stuff like that, and which will allow for companies to be able to kind of more regulate and have a better sense of quality control on their products from state to state. But until that point, it's a very interesting wild west situation still when it comes to companies moving into different territories, because they have to do it in such a interesting, precise way that it's more like franchising and not so much you growing as an individual company. You know what I mean? You lose the mom and pop feel and reputation as soon as you go into another state.
Yep.
Because you're not working with your own people that you placed there for your own reasons and blah blah blah, people that came from your original hometown or company. You're working with someone who was able and capable of getting licenses in these particular states that you couldn't obtain. And then you almost franchise your name and reputation basically to these people to operate underneath. But essentially they own the licenses, not you. So it's a very weird situation trying to quality control into different states. I mean, even if this company here, the Clear, they originally started in California, but the company here or the licenses here don't really have anything to do with the licenses in California necessarily, in Nevada.
Right, and that's kind of how Open operates as well.
Yeah,
I mean, there are companies that have multiple locations, and they don't do any kind of trading as far as product is concerned. All of the product is made in that state and doesn't go anywhere else. So
yeah, because they have to.
By law.
They legally can't transport. So once we get to a point where people can transport across state lines, obviously via licensing and proper paperwork and stuff,
Would be a federal law, and that'd be a huge step towards federal legalization.
It would.
Even just getting that going.
Because if you could set up a hub,
states.
In, let's say, Colorado, just for the sake of the conversation, because we're here, there's a lot of big companies that started in Colorado that are in majority of the other
transport tax, like a way to have you hit a weigh station. Basically, you have to pay.
I'm sure there's going to be ways to do it.
It'd be tied into everything, but
they'll
make a tax to make it
literally control all your
and it would create more jobs too. So I don't know. Federal legalization would be huge. It also then allows companies to go into open trade, and we have open markets when it comes to Wall Street with cannabis, because we already have that with Canada. And there's a few companies that are hemp companies from Nevada that have now made it. So it's just wild to see where things are starting to head into the business side of our industry, instead of it just looking at the revolution in the medical side of our industry. Well, now we're starting to see all the investing opportunities that aren't just a dispensary, but are just literally being a public trader. So big things are on the horizon, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's all about waiting it out, and getting in where you fit in at this point. That's kind of why I left the industry, because I felt that I could do more and make a bigger impact from outside the situation than inside of it directly. So that's where we are now. You know what I mean? I love talking about cannabis. I love learning about it and teaching people about it. And that's really, it was a time and a place for that, because I had to go first learn all the stuff and be inside of it, firsthand experiences, to get to this point, to even recognize that this is what I wanted to do, because that industry is very stressful. You have to really
a lot of work.
Yeah, you have to really understand. A lot of people will come in yo, man, it's really cool. You're a legal drug dealer. And they forget it's still a job.
It's still retail at the end of the day. You're doing customer service. I mean, there's no
management was still management.
At the beginning of your start in the industry, it definitely feels like you're walking down the red carpet, these golden gates, and you're like, man, I'm in the dream. I'm working with cannabis. But ultimately, still the greatest experiences I ever had with cannabis was still working for myself. And I think that just ties into even back to when I had my first interview with CannaPost Daily before I became a co-host, is that do what makes you happy. Because as long as you figure out how to take your life into your own hands, essentially, and you figure out how to take a job and it supports the lifestyle that you want, that's the key to work. Find a job that supports the lifestyle that you want. So if your lifestyle has to change due to the work that you choose to pursue, then that's change that you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with it, then change your job, change what you're doing. That's what you have control over. It's you.
Real life.
And cannabis helped me figure all that out. So
yeah, like I said, I'll never take my time in the industry for granted. I learned a lot. I was able to put myself in a lot of cool situations and positions to work with great people, learn from great people, but ultimately I have more to offer the industry than what I was kind of giving them at this point. You know what I'm saying? So, or what I was able to give in the stores.
Favorite strain for us? We've actually been talking about this a few times today.
Tropical cookies.
Yeah, we kind of both
came.
Cookies. Yeah, Tropicana cookies is what we both came to the conclusion of. The super orangey, really nice, laffy high.
Yeah.
Lemon OG's fire for sure. Lemon OG's a good strain, but for me, I grew lemon skunk for an entire year, so lemon strains. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of lemon for my terp. I try to stay away from that one. White Rhino is a great strain. Brings back the the White Widow days and things like that. Yeah. Super, super happy.
One of the realest one I've ever seen. I appreciate you, Chris. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? He said.
Sorry if it seems like we're not getting to your guys' comments. We have it pulled up on the phone, so it's kind of hard for us to always see exactly what you say as soon as you say it. But we're trying to catch up. With your comments right now, y'all. Appreciate you guys being here today, checking out some of our CannaPost Daily action, sponsored by our good friends, The Clear.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, so appreciate you guys tuning in with this. Yeah, man, what else? You got anything else this week, this episode?
That we want to add on right now? I think we're kind of at where we wanted to be at. Do you guys have any questions for us outside of our favorite strain? Anything like that you want to ask my good friend MileHighFloatin here?
Or zBoywonder over here?
Because we got the minds and we got the time, so let yourself unwind.
Oh man, look at this. Ben & Jerry wants to make CBD ice cream.
I actually saw that. I saw that trending on Twitter a couple days ago, actually.
Yeah, but they have to figure out how to get it past the FDA.
Yeah, because that's why. Right on. So, me strain's good for PTSD, anxiety, depression, complex PTSD. Strains that are good for, like, usually what you're going to want to look for is something that's a mild stone, more so than not. Like, you want to steer clear of doing sativa strains. Sativa strains are going to hit you.
They're more in the head.
Yeah, like more of a head high, as well as they kind of give you a racier high. Not always,
more
but
anxious.
Yeah, more anxious essentially.
So stay away from the sativa stuff. And really, like, the best
Indicas are definitely you want to go to, but you also don't want a super heavy indica because that can also make you feel like a zombie. So it makes you feel like you
are counterproductive.
Yeah,
not you. But one thing I used to tell people, one of my best advice for people who are looking to experiment with cannabis and try to figure out what works for them, because we're all so different. We're all chemically made up different. We're all gonna smoke the same thing and get different effects. Like 100 people are gonna have 100 different highs. The thing I used to say is start a weed journal and literally just like label at the top, name, start, middle, end, side notes, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be anything complicated, but just write down every time you try a product, write down what it was. And then from the start of the high or the experience, write down like a couple notes to remind yourself what that was like. From the middle of it, maybe like an hour in, basically, once it kind of like really starts to take that effect, tell yourself, well, again, write down a few things that are going on that you remember or that you're feeling.
Yep.
And at the end, do the same thing. And then you literally have yourself like a timeline to know kind of like how that high progressed and finished from start to finish. You know what I'm saying? And you can start to pinpoint what it is that you do and don't like about certain strains, and from there you can take that information, and there's a lot of different sources online where you can go learn about terpenes and stuff like that, and different terpene profiles, and that's going to help you even pinpoint even more what it is that you like and don't like about strains, is by learning the different terpene profiles of the ones that you do like.
All weed notes.
Yep. And literally like just a weed journal, man.
If you ever been like a waitress or a waiter, and you worked in a finer dining establishment, they essentially make you do that with like any of the wines that you guys have at your work, or any of the beers
but
now.
to learn about the notes and stuff,
so that
wines,
so you know all of the things that, if it's tannic, if it's super sweet, things like that, smoky, so that you have the ability to basically be quizzed on it and know everything about it. So like that's kind of what they started to do with us, actually. At one point, I think before you started there, we actually would get like samples to literally make a notebook essentially on like, yo, this is how this strain is, like this is what its effects were for me, such and such, and like that was how like Aaron basically would make us
I had to do
things.
I didn't do it at Kind Love, but I did have to do that, and I helped do that at Good Chemistry.
Yeah. Like they would give, because I did a lot of the weed maps for us and stuff, like they would give me like a discount on bud, so that I could sit there and basically like, all right, you're going to get 10 grams this week so that you can actually write all these inserts on these strains so that you actually know what the hell is going on. And like, okay, that's a lot of weed to smoke, but I'm cool with this.
I'm cool with it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's lit. Yeah, man. So, well, I think that might kind of conclude the end of this one.
I think we've had a good episode this week. If you guys have any additional comments, concerns, questions, feel free to always leave them in the comments. Hit us up in the DM on CannaPost Daily. That's on all social media platforms. Coming to Twitter real soon. I'm zBoywonder. That's me on all of my social medias, so you can follow me there. You can follow my boy MileHighFloatin on all of his social medias as well through MileHighFloatin. Yeah. But we appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. We hope to see you again next week, same place, same time.
Peace.